what's good, everybody? It's your girl, Freddie. I have a question. Let's just say one of your close friends has HIV, and they're going out with one of your other close friends, right? And that friend told you that they're thinking about having sex with the friend that's not infected. Would you tell the other friend that the other friend has HIV? Basically, are you going to let the other person know about the other person's status? I got a caller from the 813 area code. Your friend had HIV, or your brother, whatever, and he's going out with one of your friends, and he's telling you he's going to have sex with her. Like, what would you do in that predicament? Would you tell your friend?
I think the first thing that I would do is try and talk to my brother. Like, you need to tell her your situation, because, you know, that's irresponsible of you to just go around having sex and you know you already have this disease. And so if he's still wanting to go ahead and have sex with her, then I would have to tell her, because it's got to stop somewhere. We can't just keep passing around HIV and AIDS like it's nothing. It does kill people, and if it doesn't stop, then it's just going to continue for years and years.
Like, what makes you think you have to tell them? Because I know a couple people like, oh, that's not their business. So how would you make it your business?
The fact that I already know, I don't say it gives me authority to, but as a friend, I would have to. Like, I was in a situation where I didn't know, and then I ended up getting AIDS from this guy, and my friend knew from the start that he had AIDS and didn't let me know. I feel betrayed. And so just, you know, putting myself in a situation, I would have to tell her.
Even that you might lose a relationship with your brother.
Yeah, I can't let him continue to pass it around. If he wants to be mad at me, he's going to be mad at me, but when push comes to shove, he's still my brother. You know,
so
we're
he can't
family.
hate you.
He can be upset, but, you know, you're always going to love your family no matter what they do.
I don't know, because I completely feel it's like I'd rather lose a temporary relationship through something I said instead of, like, losing a friend to a disease that I somehow could have prevented. I mean, if they're going to have sex, they're going to have sex. But spreading information, I think that's what's killing, like, the African-American community and the Latino community, like the silence and the lack of caring, because it's supposedly 1 out of every 4 of us got it. So that means somebody know about it. But somebody don't want to say nothing because of this silent cold, whatever. I'm tired of this silent cold because it ain't doing nothing but hurting us. So, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't even know if the statistic is true, but if everybody was to get tested, I think it would be a lot more higher than 1 out of every 4, in my opinion.
There's so many people that are afraid to get tested. You just have to do it. You have to get tested because you need to know your status, because it's the longer that you don't know your status, that means you could be passing it around to all these other people. I think that's what's going on right now. A lot of people, they don't get tested. They pass it around, and then before they know it, they're sick. They go to the doctor, and, oh, I have HIV or I have AIDS now, and you have no idea how long you've had it.
I don't know, and it's like, okay, everybody talk about, oh, yeah, I'm going to get tested, my dude or my girl need to get tested. No, good and well, for the most part, they don't ask when it comes to, quote-unquote, heat in the moment, and then they wonder why they're affected. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think, like, sometimes some people are scared to tell that they got it because they know the stigma that comes with it. Oh, I got HIV. Don't nobody want to talk to me because they think if I breathe on them, I'm going to get it. So do you think that's why people, like, hide it?
I do think that's why people hide it. It's a lot of ignorance around the issue. A lot of people don't know exactly what it is. They don't know exactly how to get it. They know that you can get it by having sex, but they don't know necessarily the other ways that you can get it. Like, it's a misconception that you can get it through saliva. It's a very small percentage that you can get it that way. And it's not even like a small percentage, like 20%. It's like 1%, you know. And so people think, oh, I can't kiss this person. I can't be around this person. I can't breathe around this person because if I do, I'm going to get AIDS, and that's a misconception. And then it's just the ignorance of the issue. And once you tell people, nobody wants to hang out with you, and that's retarded. We all need to be educated about it.
And I just want to make people know this, too. Just because it says the African-American and Latino community is at large does not mean that everybody else is exempt from getting it. I'm tired of people having that, like, misconception, too, that they're invincible to the fact. But so you say you're going to tell regardless.
Yeah. It would be a hard decision, but I think in the end I'd have to do what's right.
Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you for having me.
If you knew somebody that had HIV and they were going out with somebody that you knew personally, whether it's like an acquaintance, a relative, or a friend of yours. So basically, person A has HIV and person B don't. As a friend, is just do you tell person B about person A's status, or do you keep it to yourself? So I got the person calling from the 916 area. Let's see what that person feels.
I wouldn't want them to do that. I would have to tell the person for the simple fact that they would need to know. Because that just wouldn't be right for me to allow myself to let something like that happen to somebody else if I knew about about it, you know what I'm saying? For me, I would want the person that has it to tell the other person, but like they're almost risking the other person's life if they don't tell them, you know what I'm saying? So if they just kept it to themselves, that's being very, very selfish. That's not looking out for somebody else and their well-being. So, like I said, I would have to tell the person that didn't know about the person, because that's, like I said, that's selfish.
So, okay, what if that guy was like your brother, your LB, somebody close to you, and they're going out with like let's say you knew the girl, but you got cool, but you're not like the best of the friends. Does that change then?
No. I mean, if I knew my LB had it, then that's not going to change the fact, regardless if that's my LB or if it's a friend. At the end of the day, the person still needs to know.
So it don't matter. I told my brother, if you have that and I meet your girlfriend, trust and believe. I'm going to be like, excuse me, girlfriend, brother. My brother got this. I don't know if he's telling you. I don't know if he's scared. Because, like the other person mentioned, they're probably scared to tell him because of the stigma.
Oh, they are. That's probably are.
I'm not trying to be funny, but, like, if somebody with HIV tried to kiss me, I'm going to be like, oh, my God, I got it. So I can only imagine how they feel.
But kissing and having sex are different things.
I know, but some people still feel like, oh, my God, this person. You know, people freak out over the littlest things.
You're right.
But that's not little, but some people are just ignorant to the fact. People need to stop having that negative view about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have it. If you're not being careful about it, you need to wear a condom. Even then, get tested after you wear the condom because, you know, a condom prevents it. It don't eliminate it. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So what do you feel about people that won't tell?
If they won't tell, they are risking not only their lives but the other person involved. And again, that goes back to just selfishness. It's like you having the flu and intentionally coughing on me. And oops, I forgot to tell you I had the flu, so now you have the flu too. Thanks. You could have told me that. I would have been more careful around you. I'll probably take a step back, or I wouldn't be all in your face. But if you don't tell me anything, it's just, I'm spread everything you just got and gave it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you just explain like the easy transmission of it. So only imagine these people every day talking about, I don't care about myself, I'm going to spread it to others, or they don't even know they have it because the other person told them, oh, no, I don't got it.
Oh, well, that's why Negroes need to get checked, and you need to wear a condom. That's it. Get checked, wear a condom, and if you have it, you know, take the necessary precautions so you try to get rid of it or decide to do whatever. Or I don't know how it would feel to have HIV and still be wanting to have sex, because to me, I'd be like, wow, I kind of care about other people's feelings, so I wouldn't want to be passing and spreading it along somebody else. Kind of fucked up.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you calling in and spreading your opinions on my show, all right?
No problem.
So far, 2 people say yes about, I'm going to tell the other person about person's A status. What about you? Caller from the 601.
The whole feeling is, I feel like you should never butt into somebody else's business as far as somebody else's relationship. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I feel like their partner should have that, like, state of mind, that awareness of mind to have that conversation with their partner, period. And if the person who has HIV or AIDS doesn't tell them, then it should be the responsibility of the other partner to understand, like, well, I should take that upon myself to find that information out. Now, I think if it becomes a problem where, you know, the person with HIV AIDS is not going to tell or not going to divulge that information or being untruthful, then that's the point when somebody has to step in. But for the most part, I don't feel like you should be obligated to step up into somebody else's personal business, especially when it deals with any type of health, because even doctors and hospitals have to deal with confidentiality, right? That's somebody's information. So, I mean, that's my whole feeling.
So what about person B was your sister and your homeboy had it? Then will you tell your sister, or that's when the story changes?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that is where the story changes, because if it's somebody I know I'm personally close with, I would want them to know. But, I mean, like, at the same time, I feel like that's not my realm to do that, and it's not my realm to really step into that and be like, you know, such and such has AIDS or whatever, you should know this. But, I mean, when she gets grown, like in her relationship, and the person that she's going to marry potentially, like, unless it's just a real violent situation, that's not my business to get into. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's someone's relationship. And I feel like you cripple the relationship when you don't allow that communication to happen and you step in place and fill that role. But, like, and that's not your role to do. That's not what you're obligated to do.
You're more so like, when it's absolute necessary, you will step in and be like, look, I don't appreciate this. But as far as regular conversation, you're going to be like, you don't got nothing to do with it?
Right. I feel like, I mean, there's already a stigma on these patients who have these diseases, and I would be adding on to the stigma that issue, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, if I know somebody's lying or intentionally trying to infect someone, because I feel like that's happened too before, then that's
Right.
when you step in. But if it's not like that and it's just people living their lives and people who are truly genuine, then you really shouldn't have an issue. And I feel like if you know somebody is not genuine in the first place, whether or not they do have AIDS or HIV, that's your responsibility to step in and be like, look, I got a bad vibe from this person. I really don't feel like you should be fucking with them. If you felt that vibe from them in the first place, whether or not they were infected, then you shouldn't really be messing with them in the first place. You should let them know, like, hey, yo, I think this is a bad person. This is a bad dude. Don't mess with him.
So have you ever heard about the AIDS man? This guy on YouTube, and he's naming people that he intentionally gave HIV to, and he's talking about 15 years old, 18-year-old, virgin. He talking about these girls deserve it because they didn't act. So in his case, do you feel like he was right to trying to prove these girls a lesson?
In that situation, the burden of responsibility falls on the girls, though. He was wrong to do that, but as far as anything dealing with sex or intercourse, unless you're raped, then you really have no excuse to bring that up. Unless you're raped or you were doing, if it's consensual, then there really is no issue, and you should have that responsibility in that state of mind to be like, I should ask this person. Now, if he lied, and then he's in the fault. But if he didn't lie about the information and would have been straight up, if the girl would have asked, it's on the girl. You're supposed to know to ask your partner sexual history if you're going to delve into that kind of intimate act. My whole feeling about sex in general, it's just like an intimate act dealing with another person and in another space, you feel me? And I feel like if you're going to do that, then you have to have some kind of background information about that other person, namely their sexual history as far as like who they've had sex with and whether or not they're tested.
And show the proof that they got tested, not just verbally.
Exactly.
I want to see that paper.
Right. And I feel like you have to have that state of mind. I mean, it's unfortunate that you have to do that, but, I mean, you just got to protect yourself, and it's real, you know? So.
All right, one more question. Now, what if you was in that predicament in which you're going out with a girl, and her best friend told you that the girl that you're talking to has it? Would you be upset at the friend for her telling you?
I wouldn't be necessarily upset at the friend for telling me, because I feel like if I love her, then it's really not going to matter. I'm going to, like, try to work that out. But if it was an issue where she just was not straight up going to tell me, I guess I would be more so mad at my partner for not telling me and not giving me the information. It was more important for me to hear it from my girlfriend than it is for me to hear from her friend, because then it comes, the issue is, what if we did have unprotected sex and you didn't tell me? Like, I would have been infected and you didn't have that state of mind to even care about me, to let me know, to warn me. And I think that's like a larger issue, more so like it does deal with the AIDS, but it kind of goes beyond that. The fact that you weren't willing to speak up to protect me. I wouldn't appreciate that.
See, like, you deserve to know, especially if I don't
exactly.
pulling up with you.
Because I feel like if we're just cool, we go on a couple of dates, it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, I think if you get into a real strong, committed relationship, then that's where it becomes an issue.
See, at least you being real. You talking about, no, because this is not my business. But I appreciate you speaking up about it, because not a lot of people are be up front and be like, nah, I'm not going to say it. Because you think everybody going to say yeah, but when it comes down to it, no.
I just don't feel like that's my business, and I don't feel like that's right to do. If you get into ousting somebody else's business, then that's a problem. And then I feel like the line between minding your own business and protecting somebody is when the people who have AIDS or have an STD are being untruthful and lying about the information and not choosing to share that. And that's the issue. And then when it comes to protection, it's a two-way street, because you can't just protect your friend all the time, because your friend is going to have to know and have that state of mind that I need to protect myself. And if you don't have that responsibility to protect yourself, I feel like that's what the real issue is.
Protect yourself, people. Even if the guy or the girl is cute, tap it before you tap it. It ain't worth going to the clinic, paying for these medicines. Just, you ain't Magic Johnson. He probably got a cure for AIDS, but you ain't him. You got to live with it for the rest of your life. Appreciate it, buddy, all right?
No problem.
This girl been holding for a while from the 860. So what about you? Would you blow up your friend's spot in the name of HIV?
Would I blow it up in the name of HIV? Regularly, I wouldn't want to get involved in people's relationships and stuff like that. But in the name of HIV, I think that I would, theoretically, I think I would try to do it on an anonymous tip. It would more be like, you know what, before you do XYZ with so-and-so, get yourself tested or ask them about their history. It's not enough telling them to just wear protection. I feel like you have to tell them. I would say this person has a STD, but then still that's not serious, because some STDs you can cure. So I really don't know, but I would think that I would try to warn them in some way, shape, or form. But naturally, I wouldn't really butt in somebody's situation. But since it's HIV and the problem, especially in our African-American community and among African-American females, I would want to say something. So, and if it was my sister, I would most definitely tell her. If I had to, put on, a steel panty on her or something, I would do it to protect her. You know what I'm saying? But if it's somebody else that's out of the realm of my control, that I would make an attempt to do something to, intervene. But ultimately, you can't really control people's actions.
It don't matter if the person that had HIV is your brother.
If it's my brother, I think I would definitely try to tell the other person if I don't talk to my brother first, you know what, that's grimy. What are you doing? I don't even know if a condom is not 100%, so I'm going to ask him if he thought about this, if he talked to the person, XYZ, and even if he says, you know what, yes, I did talk to them, whatever, I think I'm going to still find a roundabout way to get to her and be like, you know what, before y'all consummate this here relationship, you might want to do this, and that. Hopefully.
I think I'm just like you. I did not have to tell you that I know this information. So when I tell you this information, you cannot run off and be like, yo, Freddie said you got this. We're going to play this play one time. Oh, baby, we need to get tested, show you that I am clean. Don't rat me out because I didn't have to tell you. Because, people don't want to be like no snitch or whatever.
Right.
So it's just like, hey, because that really can mess up things, blowing up somebody's spot.
Right. That's true, too. And still a health issue, and that's still somebody's personal business. But I think it kind of becomes a little bit public knowing that this disease that's on a rampant rise in our community. So it's like, you know what, this can ruin. You can cure most of them, but this one is not a cure, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to live for a long time. This can completely alter your life, and it has stigmas attached to it. You can be ousted from your family, from your communities, if it does get out. It depends on your neighborhood. It could leak your information or whatever. This can ruin you physically and your
reputation.
Right. So it can completely ruin you like that. So I think it would become a little bit more public and a little bit more kind of my responsibility to try to warn the person.
I know you have my back. I appreciate that, man. I feel like one out of those every 4, one out of every 2 know about it. Like, the other person know about it. But again, business. But at the same time, that silence. And I'm not saying people are careless, but that lack of wanting to inform another is wiping out our communities. Even third world countries are suffering from this, too. I mean, it's just like, tap it before you tap it. Yes, that's a good thing, but remember, like you said, condoms prevent, it don't eliminate.
Oh, you know what I read the other day, too? That I think D.C. gets the world's leading area for the new outbreaks of HIV. But there are more cases of HIV, I think, in D.C. than in South Africa or in somewhere in Africa, which is a third world place, which is a place that a lot of people don't have access to contraception, where there's a lot of rape and stuff. Like, this is right here in America where we live, or where most of your callers, I think, live. So for me, that makes it something public.
We're supposed to be one of the most educated countries in certain aspects, and we have the most access. So I remember a long time ago, we did not have access to condoms. Right. You would think in every store, you got your Walgreens, your Walmart, whatever's up north, whatever's out west, that you got these condoms. You even got these clinics that give out free ones depending on the person's size because, some people feel like certain types don't fit them. But still, they don't give you to not protect yourself.
Right.
So, but yeah, girl, appreciate you calling in, all right?
No problem.
Person calling for 911, what's your views about this? Would you tell the other person if another person had HIV?
This is Shauna, by the way. I would probably talk to whoever my friend was that had HIV or AIDS first and kind of be like, you really should tell that person. But if they didn't tell them, then I probably would go ahead and tell the other person because, this is like a life or death situation. So I just think that the person should know regardless. Like, even if it is my best friend that has HIV or AIDS, I still think that the other person should know. That's just something you don't play with.
You had mentioned that you're going to let your friend tell their partner about it. How would you know they told them?
That is a good question. I was thinking about that, and I guess I really wouldn't know. Unless, I would hope that if they were my friend, they wouldn't lie to me. But at the end of the day, it's still their responsibility to say something about it. And if that person really loves them anyway, then I don't think that it would matter in that regard as far as them being together. But they may not be honest with me, but I think I could probably figure it out. Maybe if I'm around both of them at the same time and if I can kind of tell they're being weird about it or something like that, maybe then, I can figure it out like that. But
do you feel like if you tell somebody and they stop in their tracks, get tested, then that's one less person that getting infected, or you're just being an instigator?
I don't kind of see it as one less person getting infected. I just think it's a moral obligation. My whole thing is just I would want somebody to do the same thing for me. I would want somebody to tell me regardless if I know you that well or not, but if you know something's up and you have a feeling that I probably wouldn't know and that's life or death, then yeah, I think that I would hope somebody would tell me, but I don't know. I just think ultimately it's a moral obligation. If you do have HIV or AIDS and you are dating somebody, then you should tell that person. Like, that's just your responsibility.
Now I know if I was to go to Missouri and I'm dating somebody that you don't have HIV, I know my girl got my back.
You would know it if you knew me.
Appreciate you calling in, all right? 478. How do you feel about this situation? If your partner or if your friend had HIV/AIDS and they was going out with one of your other friends and they told them they're about to have sex, what would you do in that predicament?
Basically, I agree with the guy. He was saying that I wouldn't intervene with their relationship if I knew they were going to tell. You know, at the very last minute, if I know they're not going to tell, my friend was going to potentially endanger the life of the other person, I would definitely need to step in at that time.
So let's just say you meet them. You ain't going to have a dinner-side conversation talk about, hey, person hey has HIV. I hope you stay protected. You're not going to blow up his spot like that.
Oh, no. I would trust that my friend, knowing what it does to a person's life, would be considerate enough to tell their partner that, you know, they have HIV. And if they're thinking about having sex with them, you know, the relationship obviously is serious. I'm guessing they want to talk about it then. But I wouldn't intervene unless I knew that the other person didn't know and they were about to, you know, have sex or whatever.
I had asked somebody before, you say you trust your friend. The reason why I'd be so skeptical in telling them, meaning like I will tell them, is because they didn't use their best judgment when they got it. I'm kind of scared that they won't use their best judgment in telling the other girl or telling the other guy, depending on the sex of the person, about themselves, because, again, they got it, you know, again, the stigma about it. And then now, if I tell this girl I got HIV, but I really like her, she going to want to leave me because don't nobody want to touch me. Like, would that go through your mind?
I mean, that's the reality of the disease. Now that you have it, now that you contracted it, being so unwise in the past, you would think you would wise up by now and consider that you wouldn't want this to happen to other people in your life, you know? So that's what I would hope would happen. But some people just don't think like that, I guess.
What if you were dating a guy that had it and his best friend told you that his friend has it? Would you be mad at the best friend for telling you?
No, I would not be mad at all. First of all, if someone comes and tells me that, I'm going to be skeptical of the fact, but then I'm going to do my research on it. I'm not just going to like make up my mind yay or nay if they have it or not. I want to know for a fact. I want some proof that this person does or does not have the disease.
Okay, what if, let's say that was your best friend, that was person A, and then person B was your brother. Would you tell your brother that your best friend has it?
Definitely. I mean, that's my brother. Going back to the fact that I'm hoping that the other person, when sometime in their relationship, does tell them. If they don't, then I would step in and say, the person has AIDS. You need to, you know, check yourself.
This is sort of kind of off topic. Like, what if the person already told them, like, yeah, I have HIV/AIDS, and person B was like, I also have sex with you unprotected. Do you think that's crazy?
I guess they don't want to live. I guess they don't value life because if the other person had AIDS and I love that person, I would triple, double check, wrap it up. I don't know what, saran wrap, anything to protect myself. I wouldn't want to be, you know, out there. That's just crazy.
But where I go, where is 478?
It's in Middle Georgia.
All right, Representative for Georgia, I appreciate you calling in and voicing your opinions. But now I got to watch out for you. You're my friend, and I'm dating somebody with HIV, and you know about it. I got to watch out for you, so I know not to hit up Georgia. Just kidding. But appreciate that, though. I really appreciate you calling in, all right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you for my callers that called in with voicing their opinions. If you do have it, or you know somebody that does have it, make sure you have that open conversation in which you know you have it, but other people shouldn't have to suffer from it, because that's not fair that you giving it to other people like this AIDS man did. I mean, he is sick. At the end of the day, again, it is not your friend's obligation to tell them. It is your obligation. So if you have it, wrap it up. Let them know so they can decide whether they want to continue with you or not. Again, stay tested, all right? No excuses. There's free clinics. Then get tested for HIV now, because I want you to get infected to stop spreading the infection. Again, everybody is liable to get it, not just African Americans, not just Latinos. Anybody could get it at any time. So please, tap it before you tap it. Stay educated. Love you guys. That's my time for today. Until next time.